is actually an excerpt from the speech. The I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King. How many of you guys have heard of that speech, the I Have a Dream speech? That's awesome. That's great. So you guys are familiar. Now, has anybody heard of Langston Hughes at all? Langston, awesome. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so we're going to talk about those two amazing guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started.
I told you something.
Okay, there we go. So now before you read any poetry, any type of literature, you always need to address who wrote it, when they wrote it, and why they wrote it. Okay, because that gives you the context, that gives you the background, so you can really understand what's going on. So this poem, I Too, by Langston Hughes, obviously it was written by Langston Hughes. It was written in 1928, and he wrote it to highlight how society treated African Americans unequally. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys a picture of Mr. Langston Hughes. It's pretty interesting because his birthday was actually February 1st, and he would have been 115 years old. Okay.
Can I add something to that too?
Sure.
Langston Hughes is one of our people that we're going to be looking at through our Harlem Renaissance. And I think when you look at his writing, he had a different style of writing. Very different style of writing. And we will also be covering him in our poetry unit as well. Girl, you're just nailing everything.
Awesome. I'm so excited. It's very important for children, just like you and me, to understand our history. I know that there's certain struggles that we just don't face anymore because society has progressed and we've moved on from a lot of ugly things that used to happen. But it's very important for us to understand the past so that we won't repeat it in the future. Okay? So now here are some questions that I want you guys to be thinking about as I'm reading. And this poem is very short, but it has a very, very deep meaning. So I want you guys to listen to it with your ears, listen to it with your heart so you can really understand and identify with the speaker that's in this poem. And listen to it with your minds because you're going to have to put on your thinking caps to really understand the deeper meaning, okay? So this is I Too by Langston Hughes. It says, I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when the company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when the company comes. Nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Okay, so you see how it's very short. Now, if we look at, I think this is the second stanza. It says, I am the darker brother. So he's saying I, so it's talking, it's in first person. So he's like, okay, this is me, I'm talking. He says that he's the darker brother. So as a reader, we can assume that most likely he's an African American male, okay? And he says, they send me to the kitchen. They send me in the kitchen. Now, if we look at what time it was written in, 1928, African Americans were put in positions where they were servants to other races. So he was probably, a butler or some kind of servant position. So he was sent back to the kitchen to eat when company came. People were ashamed of him. He was invisible. People didn't see him for who he was. And then there's a change in tone that I'm sure you guys will talk about when you get into poetry. The change in tone starts when he says, tomorrow. He says, tomorrow I'll be at the table. So he's saying, right now, although I may feel invisible, although I may feel like people don't see me at the moment, they're going to see me eventually. I'll sit at the table when the company comes. So he sees promise in his life, just as though we should see promise in our lives. I don't know, you guys go through a lot of stuff, younger and younger now. You guys might be in situations where you may feel like you're invisible, but always know that there's hope tomorrow that you will be able to sit at the table when the company comes, okay? So now, how does this poem make you feel? By show of hands, if you want to talk, just tell me, how did this poem make you feel? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel, sad at first because of what he's going through, and it's like it starts to be happy.
You feel happy? You feel happy once that change in tone happens when he says tomorrow? Does anybody else want to share how they feel about the poem? How do you feel? Nobody? Y'all were so energetic before. What happened? How does it make you feel? Anybody? Yes.
At first, it made me feel that it was a little sad, like they weren't happy with him, so they sent him away. And then it became happy. So then I became happy.
You could really identify with the speaker. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. Whenever you're reading poetry, you always have to see how can I make this apply to my life? Because sometimes with poetry, it goes like over my head. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, like what's happening. But we always have to just sit back and internalize and think, well, how can this poem make me a better person? Okay, so that was how the poem makes you feel. Has anybody ever felt like an outsider just by show of hands? Have you kind of felt like, man, I feel like I'm being sent back to the kitchen. Like I don't feel like I'm seen. Okay, good. I think that's normal. Don't ever feel like you're different, because I think that everyone feels that, feels just a sense of not really belonging at times. But again, know that tomorrow you will be able to sit at the table, and there is promise that's in your life. And then another question that I think is very, very important for us to ask ourselves is basically the main idea of this poem. What does it mean to be an American? Does anybody know what it means to be American? What do you think?
It means that you are free. You have all equal rights as anybody else, and you live in the country.
Absolutely. What does it mean to be an American to you?
You're a free person.
Anybody else? Are you done? Is there anything else? Okay. You were born in America. Okay. Is that what being an American means to you? What does it mean to you?
Everyone's treated equal.
Everyone's treated equally. What does it mean to you?
If you're born in America, you can be treated how you're born to be treated. But if you treat other people, you're not treated, then they must respect you. You must be respected.
Okay, well those are great definitions of what it means to be an American. This is what I feel like being an American is. Being an American is about diversity. I know that today in classrooms we see boys and girls of all different colors that come from all different backgrounds that are able to sit down at a table and to learn together. But that really wasn't a reality 50 years ago. That was not a reality. We didn't see that. We didn't see all of these beautiful faces. I'm learning so many new and interesting things about several topics. It was very one-sided, and it was segregated. That's actually what it was called. It was called segregation when African Americans were on one side and whites were on the other side. So being an American is about our diversity, having our own hopes and our own dreams and our own aspirations. And another thing that's really cool about being an American is that some people are not technically born in America,
Right.
but they have their citizenship in America. So I know some people might be like from England, and they can come to America and they can learn all about our history and our culture and take a citizenship test. And then they become an American too. So being an American is essentially for everybody. We all have the opportunity to be free. We all have the opportunity to succeed in business, in life, and just become all around good people for the betterment of our society. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is an excerpt from the I Have a Dream speech. I know that a lot of you guys heard about it. Okay, I'll step back a little bit. So who said it? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was the leader of the Civil Rights Movement. So you know whenever you hear this speech, you're hearing it from a very prominent person. He is the guy of the Civil Rights Movement. He's the leader. Okay, so when? This was in 1963 when he said it. He said it at the March on Washington at the Lincoln Memorial. So this was in front of thousands, maybe even millions of people. So this is a big stage. So he's saying this at a mic, and all of these people have his attention. And why did he say it? He said it to demand racial justice in an integrated society. Because although we read I Too by Langston Hughes, that was in 1928, segregation was still a reality all of those years later in 1963. Okay, so this is actually a picture of him after him saying his speech. So you see all of those people. This was the grand stage that he was on.
As far as your eye can see, I mean, it's amazing.
It's incredible. Yes.
said it, there was like a tower thing, and it was like in the shape of
Your
a
Washington
square.
Monument?
Yeah.
Okay, so now these are the questions that I want you guys to think about as I read this. This is going to be a little bit longer, so make sure that you're still staying focused, okay? You staying focused? Gotcha. And so, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a deeply rooted dream, the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even in the state of Mississippi, a state of sweltering heat with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, right there in Alabama, little black girls and little black boys will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope, and this is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Okay? So now, do you think that MLK's dream came true? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think his dream came true?
Yes.
Do you think his dream came true? Do you think his dream came true? What about you? Yes? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I think that's incredible. And I think that we should all think that way of positivity and optimism. But we also have to realize that in certain situations in our society, unfortunately, his dream has not been fully fulfilled. Racial injustice is still out there, and it's very important for you guys to learn about it now so you can stop it whenever you see it. Of course, you know, mainstream obviously has become accepting of all races and cultures, and we're moving in that right direction, but there's still some ugly stuff out there. And I encourage you, whenever you see any type of injustice, whether it's racial injustice, bullying, anything that you see that is wrong, do not stand there. Do not stand there and watch it happen. You stand up and you fight for Martin Luther King's dream. Okay? So now, what are your dreams? What's your dream?
To go to space.
To go to space. So you want to be an astronaut? How cool is that? That's a lot of science. What's your dream?
To be a space engineer.
Wow. So you're going to be behind the scenes. What's your dream?
To go to the Olympics with Ray.
Wow, that's an incredible dream. Okay, so you're going to be like Michael Phelps. What's your dream? To be a doctor. What's your dream? To be in the NFL. Okay, I know about football. What's your dream?
To be an actor.
To be an actor. Your dream.
Demolition specialist.
What's your dream?
To become a news reporter.
Like me. That's my dream too. What's your dream?
I want to become
What's your dream?
To be in the NBA basketball.
Oh, wow. What's your dream?
to be an anesthesiologist.
Wow, that's a very, very important job. What's your dream?
To be a police officer.
To be a police officer. I commend you. That's great. What's your dream?
To be an architect.
Your dream.
To be an NFL engineer.
Your dream.
A lawyer.
Lawyer. Yours.
Build houses.
To build houses. Wow, we need houses. What's your dream?
And surgeon.
Wow, you guys have some amazing